Boom. Are we live? Are we live? Hey, welcome. Testing, testing. Let me do one more check here. Video, audio. I'm a mess. I'm always a mess. Okay. Do a little check. Audio, video. I'm a mess. I'm always... All right, good. So, hey, man, welcome everybody. Thanks for stopping by this evening, Sunday evening. I was preparing a couple of things behind the scenes. Kato was helping me out with this specific part of the story, which is really important for the live stream. And the video wasn't loading on one of the websites. I've tried multiple browsers, a bunch of issues. So she's having to screen record the last video that we need for the live stream. So hopefully she gets it figured out. But we're going to start with the story from the very beginning. It's a lot of reading that I'm going to have to go through to start this. So once we start, I'm not going to be looking at the chat for a while. Probably I'm going to be zooming right through. And there is some developments. And so it's going to be reading, going through the timeline. If you've never heard of the story of Cleo Smith, the 4-year-old, you're fine. You can hang out here because you're going to learn everything. What's up, man? Welcome. And let me open up my notes section too in case I got to refer to something. Okay. So, yes, this whole situation took place October 15. It's kind of odd, man. It is kind of odd. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting like, please, sharing the video, that would help me out tremendously. It's kind of an odd story because this family went camping, and so it was the mother. I should pull up the picture here for you guys real quick. So this is the mother. Okay, her name is Ellie Smith. This is the stepdad, Jake Gliddon, and they were there with 2 of the kids. And let me see if I know I had a picture somewhere. I had it in one of the articles. Here it is. That's just Discord, but this is Chloe, and this is her technically stepsister. I think at the time 7-month-old. And so the baby is the stepdad's and the mother's. Okay. And the 4-year-old is with the biological father, like a different father. So the one that's missing is the one with the biological father. So this is like Ellie and Jake. This is like their baby pictures here. Sonogram for the newborn baby, the 7-month-old. So the 7-month-old is fine. The 7-month-old was in the same part of the tent with the 4-year-old that's missing. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of a visual with that. So I'm going to get started. Hopefully Kato will send it. It's all on you, Kato. And so let's start here. It's going to be a lot of reading. Thank you guys for joining. Friday, Cleo and her family arrived at Blowholes campsite at about 6:30 p.m. on Friday night for a quick weekend trip. Cleo's mom, Ellie, used to visit regularly when she was a child and later confirmed her 4-year-old was familiar with the area. So she grew up there, or she knows the area, and so does Chloe as well. Her stepdad, Jake Gliddon, got straight to work setting up their 2-bedroom tent, 2 mattresses, and baby Isla's cot, which was in a room with Cleo. The family ate dinner together, and Cleo was in bed no later than 8 p.m. Her mom later revealed, while nobody else physically saw Cleo at the campsite, Superintendent Rod, who was in charge of the task force, said police determined that she was definitely there via CCTV footage from a nearby shack, which is, when I get through all the details and we start watching videos, I'm going to show you that video clip if she gets it to me. It is not known if that camera caught any other movements during the time frame Cleo disappeared. And so this image here is kind of like one of those, I don't know, body language experts. And we're going to, at the very end, we'll take a look at this too. I played it already, but for the new people, after we get through all the details, I'll play this at the very end. We can watch this interview with the mother and father, or stepdad, depending on which kid. So Saturday, the family were all asleep in their tent. Cleo stirred about 1:30 a.m. to ask her mom for a sip of water. Miss Smith, the mother, quickly settled the 4-year-old, and after her drink, she went straight back to sleep. She didn't want to wake. She didn't wake again until 6 a.m. when a restless Isla woke up for her bottle. As soon as Miss Smith entered the section of the tent where Isla and Cleo were sleeping, she realized her eldest daughter was gone. The red and gray sleeping bag that Cleo had been sleeping in was also missing, while Isla was unmoved in her cot next to the mattress. So they were like right next to each other. She woke up Mr. Gliddon, telling him Cleo's gone, and together they alerted nearby campers and the search began. First, they checked around the tent. Miss Smith then checked anywhere she used to play as a kid, hopeful that Cleo was hiding. In the back of her mind, she knew it was unlikely. Cleo never wandered and would not have left the tent on her own accord, the distraught mother later confirmed. Police didn't arrive on scene until mid-morning. It's unclear exactly what time they were called, but by the time they arrived, a full-scale search was already underway. Some campers had sent personal drones up to the skis, while others were searching on their motorbikes. Miss Smith and Mr. Gliddon had taken their car out to look as well. And if I have that screenshot, it's somewhere. Supposedly, according to one of the articles, that there was like a 4-hour delay from calling the police. Like the police were called 4 hours later after 6:30 a.m. and they started searching on their own. Then they called police. Sunday, Miss Smith revealed on Facebook that Cleo was missing in a distraught, lengthy post. Meanwhile, the search at the campsite continued as Inspector John said cars leaving the campground were searched for the child. We're trying to paint a picture of who was around here during the window of the opportunity between the early hours of Saturday morning and 6 a.m. Saturday, and what the leads could give us. They have a GoFundMe. These are some of the pictures. Her biological father, and I mentioned this in the original video, her biological father, Daniel Staines, was interviewed for nearly 3 hours. He was taken to the station. It's about 1,000 kilometers south of where Cleo disappeared. After voluntarily coming in to give a statement, he was almost immediately ruled out of having any involvement in Cleo's disappearance. So, if anybody's thinking the biological dad, they're saying that he's ruled out. And I'm looking at the chat real quick. We're going to get into a lot. This is just the very, very beginning, because the next article that I see too, they talk about the zipper and how nobody heard things and some witnesses not cooperating, some are. Kind of interesting. Some of the initial wild theories included that she had been swept out to sea with the tides, fallen down a drop hole toilet in the ground, or fell off a cliff. Now, the Jake, who is the new guy, he's like a fisher. I saw his Instagram. We were kind of looking at it. Not saying anything. I'm just saying he's a fisher and he has all that kind of stuff, knows about that kind of stuff, I guess. Several people claiming to be mediums, oh Lord, came forward to claim Cleo had been abducted. One woman insisted a green rusty tin door is crucial to finding the 4-year-old after seeing a vision. Another picture here. So this is the baby. And then this is Cleo. And this is Jake. That's Ellie. So on Tuesday, the search in and around Blowholes campsite was temporarily suspended due to the wild weather, causing concerns about Cleo's safety. By Tuesday afternoon, Cleo's mom and stepdad provided an update, offered that first indication that it was more likely than not that the 4-year-old had been abducted. The zipper leading to Chloe's room in the tent was completely opened from the top, which she wouldn't have been able to reach. So it was out of Chloe's reach. She couldn't have just done it herself. Body language expert David Stevens from Critical Insights said the couple appeared to be trying to keep it together during the interview. He said the gesture, tone of voice, and facial expressions seen during the interview indicated truth-telling while mirroring the couple's sadness and distress. Miss Smith's voice faltered as she relayed the moment she unzipped the tent to discover her 4-year-old was missing. Her gestures and illustrators of which there are several broadly match what she is saying, which is a good indication that she's being truthful. So the expert, the body language expert or whatever, thinks she's telling the truth. While Miss Smith fought back tears, Mr. Gliddon sat quietly by her side. Mr. Gliddon was frantic when he realized Cleo was missing, according to a camper on scene who assisted with the search. He started dating Miss Smith 2.5 years ago when Cleo was barely 1. It's understood that he has raised Cleo on his own ever since. A close friend of the couple said Mr. Gliddon's absolutely adores Cleo and took her on as his own not long after she was born. He may be a stepfather, but those kids mean the world to him. He's a great dad. Now, these are just all the rolling updates and timelines. It's a lot of reading. The next article is a lot of reading too. Then I have some clips. Let me just see if she got the link. Oh, man. All right, let me continue here. So Wednesday, detectives revealed up to 20 sex offenders live near the campsite where Cleo was last seen. Assistant Police Commissioner Darrell said detectives have been making inquiries about their whereabouts, but officers believe that none were involved. They also confirmed they are investigating nearby campers. Claims they heard the sound of screeching tires in the early hours of the morning. And so remember that, because a little bit later we're going to get to the whole that vehicle that they believe, I don't know if they know that it's involved, but they want to know who was driving that vehicle. So they're investigating nearby campers. Claims they heard the sound of screeching tires in the early hours of the morning. Thursday, they claim here, was the most significant day after the mother released another public plea called a midday press conference in which it revealed police believe Cleo was abducted. We know about the $1 million reward that was put up by the government. And they've been doing an extensive, massive search, air, by sea, drones, everything. And they believe that she was taken, that she didn't walk out on her own. The other thing, too, when we covered the press conference, the guy said, it says here, Mr. Blanche also let it slip that they had been searching the campsite for a body. But throughout the rest of the conference, authorities maintained that they hope to find Cleo alive. So it's not looking good. All right. This happened last seen October 16, early morning hours. We're now on October 24th. Miss Smith, who is a local in the area, has frequented the blowholes campground many times and said she looked for Cleo in places she would have hid as a child. Investigators also plan to revisit the nearby shacks along the coastline. And I think this is it for here. I'm not going to read this part. Yeah. So the next portion. Let's see here. Shared. Okay. I'm trying to get that video for you guys for the end. Here we go. I got it now. Okay. I'm going to download this so I'll have it ready when we get to that part. Thank you, Cato. I appreciate all the links and the help with the story. Thank you. So I'm downloading that. So, okay. So this, I guess this is like a cop or an investigator. Familiar face. Madeline McCain, top cop, says Cleo Smith may have known her abductor, who may have stalked family for days. So this is another story. I don't know too much of it, but I've been hearing this name pop up ever since Cleo Smith. And so I guess he was on this case. Mr. Gamble, who is the senior child protection officer in the UK investigation into the Maddie case, explained the chance of the girl being taken away silently by a total stranger in the middle of the night was low. So they're saying that maybe they think that the person that took her knew her. somehow, because there was no noise or sounds made. This is the remote campsite. Jim Gamble fears Cleo likely would have known her abductor, potentially being someone who interacted her in the weeks before. Australian cops are now treating the case as an abduction after the 4-year-old vanished from the family tent outback last Saturday. The police were called around 3 hours after she was found to be missing, as the family had hoped the girl was just hiding nearby, searching the area with other campers. Mr. Gamble told The Sun online he fears this delay could make things difficult for cops, as key evidence such as footprints or tire tracks may have been accidentally destroyed or lost during the initial search. He explained that police will be looking, whatever the hell that means, backwards and forwards to piece together what happened before the disappearance that may lead them to the potential abductor. He suggested that if Cleo has been taken, it is unlikely it was by somebody who she hadn't met before. The top cop also added the pivotal point of the case was the fact her sleeping bag was missing from the campsite. And so the people that know we've been covering the story, we've talked about the sleeping bag. So she was taken, the sleeping bag was taken. I don't know if they just, yanked it or what. He explained that you would expect the bag to be left in the tent if little Cleo had wandered off alone. On a campsite, you can hear a pin drop in the middle of the night, Mr. Gamble told The Sun online. If you drag out a child, even if they have their sleeping bag over their head, the child will begin to scream. When I read this portion of the article, it made me think a little bit of Cash Jernan, because I don't think he screamed or anything, for anybody that's followed that story. It's kind of weird. In that one, we have video of the child being taken. To get the child out of the tent without drawing any attention is a really difficult thing to do. He explained if it is someone they know and potentially trust, a child will be much more compliant. If a child is shocked out of their sleep by movement by someone they don't know, they're more likely to try to cry out, no question. However, he added, it may be also possible Cleo may have been taken in her sleep while wrapped up in her sleeping bag almost as a sack to restrain her. Super weird. But being able to do this without any disturbance with her parents in the tent's other compartment would be highly unusual. So they're talking about it's weird. She was taken out. Oh, somebody, English Rose said maybe chloroformed. That's a good thought. Maybe, possibly, yeah, chloroform. Maybe, yeah. I see the people in the chat saying that. It is possible someone may have engaged with the girl and plotted the abduction, potentially following the family to the remote campsite. He said police will be looking at unusual activity leading up to the holiday involving the child. They will be considering anyone who had been reportedly behaving strangely with the child and anyone who had tried to engage with her. They'll be looking at the possibility of someone who took an interest in the child, which led them to follow them and potentially abduct the child. But the top cop explained the first part of the investigation for police will be the matter of clearing the ground beneath their feet. Police have already said everyone on the campground is being treated as a person of interest. We covered the offenders. Mr. Gamble added police are also likely looking into if there's a history of theft from tents in the area, which could suggest opportunistic snatch in a moment of panic. However, he added the campsite is a long way to go to steal from a tent. Mr. Gamble said key evidence could be held in holiday photos taken by the family or other people on the site, which he described as establishing digital collateral. Sometimes they can inadvertently capture a clue in the background, he said, and these could help create photographic timeline, verify everyone is they said they were, and look for any suspicious individuals or vehicles, and mobile phone data, which will be being scoured in the hunt as they look for anyone who may have entered the area and possibly made late night phone calls. So this is the sleeping bag here. I've showed this previously. This is this is kind of, I don't know if this is the same exact one, but this looks very similar to what she was wearing. It's a pink onesie. Okay. Statistically, the likelihood of a positive result diminishes every hour, and that is not to say some children do not get lost or abducted and then turn up again. But when you get to the 6th day, we're at a pretty critical point. Surviving beyond that point becomes very difficult, and beyond that, if you've been abducted, then it's down to the intention of the abductor if you have been harmed. But you never want to remove hope. Hope is what keeps everybody going. Oh, and here's an interesting thing too, because I got back down to this, and I think we've kind of talked about this a long time ago, what parents are doing to like track their children and stuff. He advised parents concerned about their very young children to potentially use devices like Apple AirTags sewn into their clothes to keep track of them. I didn't even know that was a thing. Apple AirTags. The case has shocked Australia, being dubbed as Aussie Maddie due to the similarities of the famous 2007 case where the 4-year-old Brit vanished while on a holiday with her parents in Prairie da Luz. Wow. And this is the last portion that I wanted to read to you with this article. 4 key clues. So the missing sleeping bag, not only was there no sign of Cleo when her parents woke, but her red and black sleeping bag were also gone. Experts question whether she would have taken it with her if she had simply wandered off on her own. Police released a photo of a similar bag, along with Cleo's distinctive pink pajamas. They urged local residents to check their bins in case evidence had been dumped. We also talked about the tent was just too high. Her own parents said that for her to do by herself or on her own. The positioning of the zipper for the flap is one of the circumstances that has caused us grave concerns. We also got the screeching car tires. So it says here, Deputy Police Commissioner Darrell Gaunt confirmed cops were looking into a camper's report of a car heard screeching about 3 a.m., 90 minutes after Cleo's mom last saw her in the tent. So around 3 a.m. It's a little bit unsubstantiated, but we're not ruling it out. He said, adding it was just one of the several reports from people who noticed odd activities and noises overnight. And they also checked out the sex offenders, but they don't believe that those sex offenders are involved. So I got a couple of videos. Let me just get to the real quick, check the super chats. And again, if you wouldn't mind hitting like, I'd appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for joining tonight. We always cover a bunch of different stories of missing people, sometimes crime too, but this is, it's nothing new. It's what we've always done on the channel. And this week, my goal this week is to really hammer down and start covering a lot more people. Of course, we're still going to be watching and covering Gabby, but make sure you're subscribed with all the notifications turned on, because you're going to be wondering and missing out on some of the videos. Snappy Snapfire. Yo, he said, yo, it was E.T. He came back and then phoned home with Cleo. I mean, that is what the parents made it sound like. Thank you for the super chat. Lisa, hey, thanks. Just showing some love as usual, Mel. Thank you for all the hard work, keeping us up to date and informed. I appreciate you. P.S. Be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe, everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Gracias. All right, so let's get to some of the interesting news clips. Oh, Kara, thank you, too, for the super chat. This case is so heartbreaking. The parents, though, seem very, very suspicious. I hope they didn't do anything to that little girl. I don't know, man. It's super weird. Let's play this.
A disturbing theory has emerged in the search for missing 4-year-old Cleo Smith in WA. Investigators exploring the possibility she was stalked in the lead up to her disappearance. Nine's Mia Edgerton-Warburton joins us now from Carnarvon. Mia, good morning. What's the latest where you are?
Well, Charles, it is a frightening term. Detectives now investigating whether Cleo Smith was possibly stalked in the days before she disappeared. Now, forensics spent about 6 hours at her Carnarvon family home yesterday. Their focus was on the perimeter of that home. They fingerprinted and took photographs of that front fence and the children's play equipment behind it. Now, they didn't go inside, and police did confirm that her parents were not the focus of that investigation. It's been 9 days since she disappeared from a remote campsite just outside Carnarvon, but detectives say they are hopeful that they will find her. That hope is being echoed here in Carnarvon. There will be a candlelight vigil for her tonight. Charles.
The whole country keeping their fingers crossed.
Today, examining the family home of four.
So they actually now they went to the family home as well, and I guess they took fingerprints and stuff because I guess they feel it's weird. I guess they feel maybe she was being stalked. So, I mean, I don't know why go.
Cleo Smith missing for 1 week after she disappeared in outback WA. Police say Cleo's parents are not their target. The forensics sent here to firm up a growing suspicion Cleo was taken and growing fears the abduction was premeditated and planned, maybe meticulously. Detectives now believe there's a chance whoever took Cleo came here to her home, maybe more than once, targeted before she was taken.
We've ruled out the fact that Cleo could have left of her own accord. So really we're left with the only conclusion that an adult has actually taken her from that tent. And at the moment, the police will be trying to narrow down who that adult may be.
This is what 6 a.m. looks like near the blowholes. It was last Saturday, almost to the minute, that Cleo's mother woke up at the campsite and realised her daughter was missing. Taken. This is big country, and it's a big task to find one little girl. The zipper on the family tent was discovered open, higher than the 4-year-old could possibly reach. Her sleeping bag gone. The search for a missing girl quickly became an investigation into a suspected kidnapping. Police today hoping to uncover the critical clue that could bring Cleo home. In Carnarvon, Joey Catanzaro.
So they went, I guess, to the parents' home, but they say the parents aren't involved. Like, when they took fingerprints. This one was interesting too because this is, I believe, one of the people that were at the campsite, or this is the guy that flew, I think, the helicopter. One of those things. A couple of people come forward to talk. Miss Missy, thank you for the super chat. This is my third super chat in less than 24 hours. I have to work an hour. To pay them. Please, friends, hit like for Mel. My rock last few weeks. Thank you, Missy, miss. Appreciate that. Gracias. You should come join us on Discord if you're not there. Check out Discord.
There's a new frightening twist in the search for Cleo Smith. Police revealing they're now considering whether the 4-year-old was stalked ahead of her disappearance. Forensic officers zeroed in on Cleo Smith's family home looking for clues.
The hunt for Cleo Smith hitting home. Forensic officers swarming her family's Carnarvon address, and the reason is frightening. Detectives now considering whether the 4-year-old was stalked, maybe continuously, in the days or...
And how does a 4-year-old get stalked continuously? I mean, I understand like you're going camping and something happens, but continuously? Juanita Taylor, thank you for the super chat. The new suspect in the Madeleine McCann case had not been arrested at the time of the doc I watched recently. Does anyone know if he's still locked up? So that one's unresolved, that case? Damn.
even months before she disappeared. Their investigation shifting even further towards a likely abduction, and perhaps whoever took her did their homework.
I have a baby sister.
It's a hard prospect for Brett Kilgallen. He lives at Blowholes campground and was there the night she vanished.
Oh, he lives there, so they have people that live out there.
One of the first to try and find her.
I actually thought I would have found her.
Did you think that you might actually find her?
Yep, I really did. I went down the beaches, along the beaches where the other people didn't have a look, couldn't get there, so I had to take the bike along there.
He says campers initially assumed little Cleo was simply lost.
We have to think logical around here. Is a 4-year-old grabbing the sleeping bag and walking away at 4 o'clock in the morning. No, that makes sense. Let's find the girl. That's what it is. Yeah. If she's inducted, she could still be alive.
Just terrible. How could someone take?
That says This is Cleo's daycare facilitator.
Someone else's job.
A probable kidnapping near their sleepy town has haunted Carnarvon residents for 8 days. Cleo's daycare facilitator driving town to town handing out flyers.
She's a dear little thing, like friendly, happy, gorgeous little girl, full of life.
While the week-long land search only finished yesterday, it's been revealed those in the sky feared the worst on day one.
Once the boys completed their refined area search, then we dispatched them up the road to Nalu Bay North and got them. You know, we just photographed every vehicle that we came across.
The CCTV captured at this beach shack is what police say confirms Cleo was here that fateful Friday night. Today, reinforcing that her parents aren't suspects.
Obviously, they're doing it really tough, so they've got a lot of support, which is good.
Mum Ellie Smith.
With regards to the CCTV, I have a couple of images. We're going to look at the article. They don't actually show the video. I don't know if we get to hear the audio, but they don't show the video. But this is like one of the shacks. There's some video thing right there. They say that she was out there. A small clip from the article, and then we'll come back to this. It says audio of Cleo Smith was recorded on a single CCTV at a beach shack situated about 20 meters from where she was staying the day before she vanished. The motion sensitive camera faces the front of the shack, capturing a wide shot of anyone who enters or exits the beach home. It also records audio. Just 4 years of age, she was heard on camera. So they heard her voice, I guess. I don't know if they actually saw her, but they heard her. That's what that looks like. Let me get you a better image too. That's the camera right there from the shack.
Again posting a plea to social media as Carnarvon prays for good news.
Pretty sombre. People are in shock, obviously, and people are hurting for this family.
Along with the rest of the country.
Mia Edgerton-Warburton is at the Carnarvon home tonight. Mia, what did police find?
Forensics combed through the home for about 6 hours today. Their focus was on the perimeter. They took fingerprints and photographs of that front fence and the children's play equipment behind it. Now, detectives say they are hopeful they will find Cleo Smith. That hope echoed here in Carnarvon. There will be another candlelight vigil tomorrow night. Everyone just trying to keep their spirits high. Mon.
Mia, thank you.
This is another. Let's see what we got left. Oh, this is the video I'm going to show you guys. This is the interview. We're going to watch this last.
Hundreds of calls to Crime Stoppers and $1 million reward. But finally, a breakthrough. Task Force Rhodia closing in on a mystery car that may have been used in the abduction of Cleo Smith.
But is it possible that Cleo was in the vehicle?
I'm not going to speculate.
Police say the car described as a small...
So this is the car thing that we're talking about, the car situation.
Smaller passenger vehicle was seen coming from the Blowholes campsite, turning off Blowholes Road and travelling south towards Carnarvon on the northwest coastal highway between 3 and 3:30 a.m. Saturday, an hour and a half after the 4-year-old's parents last saw her in their tent.
We just want to establish who they were and what they were doing at that time.
The driver may not be a suspect, but the timing is suspicious. Cleo waking her mother for a drink at 1:30 a.m, then vanishing sometime after. And it's when campers reported hearing screeching tyres. Police say the car was spotted by 2 people travelling north along this highway. At that time it was dark. They couldn't work out its make or model or if Cleo was inside.
We will painstakingly go through every vehicle movement, every bit of technology that we get, any forensic exhibit that we collect.
Detectives already trawling CCTV from the campsite. It didn't capture Cleo's abductor, but it did record some of her last sweet words the day before she disappeared.
We believe that it's Cleo's voice is heard on the CCTV.
While forensic police scoured the family home for any signs of a stalker, the top investigator says it was more likely an opportunistic abduction.
In these circumstances, if Cleo was taken from the tent, it's more than likely that it was a chance event.
And WA's border restrictions meaning chances are Cleo's still in the state.
I'm confident that we've got the main thoroughfares thoroughly controlled, and that's what kept COVID out. But at the same time, it's a very large area. That's why we want the community's assistance.
I mean, this is a 4-year-old girl, a little girl. We all feel for her and her family, and we just want to make sure that we find her as soon as we can.
Her community wants to find her as well, planning to keep her name in the spotlight by naming a race at Ascot this weekend, Bring Cleo Home.
Well, it goes worldwide, so everyone can see it. It'll be distributed all over the TVs and bars and all over the world pretty much.
A gesture that's not lost on Cleo's mum Ellie, who despite her pain had this message.
On behalf of Ellie and her family, she would like to thank the whole community and everyone who has contributed to the search so far for Cleo.
And Mayor Edgerton Warburton, the community is...
So, this is the video that Cato had to screen record. But let me just read the article here, because it has some images as well. Audio of Cleo Smith was recorded on a single CCTV camera at a beach shack situated just 20 meters from where she was staying the day before she vanished. The motion-sensitive camera faces the front of the shack, capturing a wide shot of anyone who enters or exits the beach home. It also records audio. Cleo, just 4 years of age, was heard on the camera. Police have confirmed the camera is in a protective box with a glass front, making it inconspicuous to those staying in the area. So I guess you wouldn't really notice it. I mean, that's a big-ass camera. I noticed that. Or inconspicuous, maybe meaning that it's easy to see. I don't know. Police took copies of the footage and scoured through it, saying Sunday it had helped confirm Cleo was at the campgrounds prior to her disappearance. My thing with that, though, is they're saying they didn't see her. They just heard her. I mean, so are they really sure that she was actually there? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to put that like conspiracy thing out there, but they're just basing it off of a voice they heard. Maybe was she the only kid out there besides the family? Audio was recorded on security cameras the day before she vanished. That's the shack right there. It comes as the driver of a car seen near the campsite where Cleo went missing last weekend is being sought by West Australian police, who stressed they are not a suspect in the disappearance. Detectives want to talk to the driver of the vehicle spotted 2 hours after Cleo was last seen in the family's tent, as well as anyone camping nearby. So those are some of the images there. So the biggest lead, I guess, is that vehicle. Let me play the video clip. Downloaded. I think this is it.
Was she being watched?
The only way I could get this to play was her downloading it and then sending it to me.
That's the chilling new line of inquiry by police investigating the disappearance of Cleo Smith.
Forensic officers descended on the family home, dusting for prints and collecting clues. But 1 week since she vanished, there's still no trace of the little girl.
Searching the fence line for fingerprints, forensics examining the family home of 4-year-old Cleo Smith, missing for 1 week today after she disappeared from the blowholes north of Carnarvon. Police say Cleo's parents are not their target. Forensics sent here to firm up a growing suspicion Cleo was taken and growing fears the abduction was premeditated and planned, maybe meticulously. Detectives now believe there's a chance whoever took Cleo came here to her home, maybe more than once, targeted before she was taken. This is what 6 a.m. looks like near the blowholes. It was last Saturday, almost to the minute, that Cleo's mother woke up at the campsite and realised her daughter was missing. Taken. This is big country, and it's a big task to find one little girl. The zipper on the family tent was discovered open, higher than the 4-year-old could possibly reach. Her sleeping bag gone. Local helicopter pilot Dave was the first set of eyes in the sky.
Expect them not to be far from the tent normally. you wouldn't expect them to be a couple of kilometres away. Still shocking for sure, and hopefully we do find her pretty soon. Still keeping our fingers crossed.
But the search for a missing girl soon became an investigation into a suspected kidnapping. Word spread quickly.
About 8, 9 o'clock we were leaving Carnarvon that morning, Saturday morning. An hour up the road, first fuel station, it was already posted on their fuel pumps, and we saw it continually until we got to Carnarvon, Crather.
This small town has been left shattered.
We've been careful with making sure we've got gates locked, just keeping an eye on who's coming in and out of the school. And it has, especially the first few days after it happened at school, it was very sombre, the sort of mood, and you could tell that everyone was a bit down.
It could have been one of our children, you know? Yeah, it could be, you know, one of ours. Well, she went missing, yeah.
I think the mood around it, I think people are fairly despondent. They've been very fully supportive of the family, which they should be, and probably a little bit depressed in a lot of ways, I think. You know, there's a lot of people I've found in tears at what's happened.
Our heart goes out to Cleo's family and the whole community, and we urge everyone who's been in the area, look at your dash cam, CCTV footage on homes, businesses, anything, any information is so important for making sure that we can find this little girl and find this little girl alive.
Police today hoping to uncover the critical clue to bring Cleo home.
Joey Catanzaro is in Carnarvon tonight. Joey, has there been a breakthrough in the case?
Tim, not yet, but the best chance of bringing Cleo home may still be a member of the public. Crime Stoppers has been receiving up to 400 additional calls, tip-offs a day since Cleo's disappearance. The biggest spike came after the WA government announced a $1 million reward for information. I can't stress this enough. Detectives are still calling for vigilance here and across the state. They assure me they're still following up leads and gathering evidence as people here in Carnarvon prepare to gather to support Cleo and her family. There is a plan for a vigil in the town tomorrow night. That is, of course, unless the four-year-old is found before then.
Okay. Thank you, Kato, for that clip and for the articles. Now, the last portion, because I think we've covered quite a bit with the story, we're going to watch the interview one more time for those that haven't seen it, because I think there's a lot of new people that are watching this for the first time. And this was the full interview of the mother and Jake, which there was some people asking about. I wonder if I can get that image again. If he's a stepdad or not stepdad. These two have one child together. It's the newborn. I think at the time 7 months old. I don't know if she's still 7 months old. The newborn is, you know, you can see there. It's all over the internet. It's on their Facebook and Instagram. They have one child together, and then she has another child with another guy. But according to all the information that we read from the beginning, he stepped in pretty early on and took the kids on as his own. So,
Ellie, do you mind starting by just taking me through Friday night and Saturday morning?
Yeah, of course. So Friday night, we came obviously to the blowholes. We got here about 6:30. It was just before dark. We were able to put the tent up, put our gazebo up, get everything ready for both the girls so then they could go to bed. We made them dinner. Cleo, she went to bed probably about 8 o'clock. A little one had dinner. She went to bed. We had dinner. We went to bed. That was about it. We went to sleep. Cleo woke up at 1:30 and wanted a drink of water. I got up, got her some water, and yeah, she went to bed. I checked on Isla, made sure Isla was okay. I got back in bed, and that was it really. We went back to sleep, woke up to Isla wanting a bottle, As we passed the divider, like I went into the other room and the zipper was open. Cleo was gone, and that was about it for Saturday morning until everything started.
So the zipper to the outside?
Yeah.
And you mentioned Cleo was gone, so you looked down and...
Yeah, so basically how the tent was we had Cleo was on a mattress, our little baby was in a cot right next to her. We had a divider, and then we were on a blow-up mattress as well. And yeah, she was gone. The tent was completely open. It was about 30 centimetres from being open, and I mean, I turned around to Jake and I just said, like, Cleo's gone.
What happened from there?
Well, basically, like, obviously we went and, like, went looking, checking, making sure, like, you know, she wasn't around the tent. And then we got in the car, like, you know, driving around everywhere we could. We grew up here. We literally grew up, you know, probably like 100 metres from literally where our tent was where we stayed at the same age. So we just looked everywhere that we went as kids, and we couldn't find her. And then we realised, like, well, we have to call the cops. Like, she's not here. And then yeah, we called the cops, and then just all went into motion.
What was going through your mind at that time?
Everything. Part of me was thinking, like, you know, like, where is she? She needs breakfast. She, you know, like, you know, what's she doing? I just everything was going through my head.
It's been 4 days now. Tell me about that. The last 4 days.
They've been horrendous. We haven't really slept. We've had so much family help us and support us, but, you know, like, everyone asks us, like, what do you need? And really all we need is a little girl home.
What do you think has happened to Cleo?
I don't know, and I wish I did. No idea. There's probably a million things that I've thought of and everyone else, and, you know, as everyone tells us, you know, they're searching every angle that we probably have thought of. Yeah, I guess the worst part is, like, we can't do anything more. It's out of our hands, so we just feel hopeless and out of control.
Can you tell me about Cleo?
Oh God, yeah, she's beautiful, delicate. She has, like, the biggest heart. She just so funny. She loves rocks. She collects rocks. She loves makeup and dressing up. She, you know, every day wants to wear a princess dress. She's beautiful. She's so sweet. Yeah, she's everything that you'd want in a little girl to grow up, and yeah.
What's the information you would like to get out there, and what would you like to ask people to do?
If you see anything,
yeah, anyone has information or sees anything, just
call the cops.
Let you know, yeah, the cops know.
You know, like, we get inundated with people messaging us saying, like, you know, maybe we seen her here, maybe we seen her there.
Yeah, just report it.
Report it is, like, all we can ask you to do.
Yeah.
Because we can't do anything, you know, if you see something, report it. It doesn't matter if it's small or big, or if you're sure or not. Like, we want our little girl home, and
just anything, report it. Yeah.
People have mentioned that Cleo is perhaps not the kind of child who would wander off. Just tell me about that.
She isn't. She would never. She won't leave my side if I'm walking in the shops. I mean, I live 5 minutes from the shop. She won't even walk that far. She's
pretty lazy.
Yeah, she's lazy when it comes to walking. She won't ride her bike very far because all she wants to do is just go in the bottom of our pram, and she would never leave us. She would never leave the tent. She's wearing, when she left, she was wearing a jumpsuit, and she can't go to the toilet without my help unzipping it and going, and she would come get me just like she did with her water. She would never leave that tent alone.
Do you think someone knows where Cleo is, or someone?
Someone has to. It's been 4 days. And yeah, they have to.
We're going to talk about, I'm going to let this play, but because somebody was asking about the Dingo thing. And I've had a lot of people on the previous coverage I did of this ask about the Dingo thing. And at first I thought it was trolling, but it's a legitimate thing. There's a story behind the whole situation. And I found this interesting article. So after this, I'm going to read that to you guys. Again, thank you so much for joining. If you wouldn't mind hitting like, I'd appreciate it. It helps out the channel. I cover a wide variety of missing people, stories. There's just a lot of different things. And I've been doing it for quite a while. So.
Do you fear someone has taken her?
We hold hope that, she's here, because if I think about her being taken, it's pretty, a million other things cross our mind. But I mean, that's why everyone else has their job, because that's what they're here to do, to find her.
Can you tell me about that massive search that you've seen taking place?
Everyone's doing everything they can.
Everything they can, yeah.
I mean, we sit and watch it every day and all night, and
yeah, it's going day and night. You can see it happening.
It's going, and we're just watching it happen. Like, they've been amazing updating us, but every time we get a call, we just always think, like, is this our call that she's home? Is this our call that
Well, I don't believe the Dingo took the baby. I'm not saying that, but I'm going to read the background to it. Definitely doesn't make any sense. The thing was zipped. The sleeping bag, like some of you guys are saying in the chat, definitely there's not even in my head, but there is a previous story with a tent and a baby that supposedly one of those things actually did eat a baby.
We sit and watch the sand dunes, and we just think that she's just going to run down it and like back into our arms, but we're still waiting.
How are you feeling right now?
How I'm feeling is how I never want any mother to feel with their child.
How would you imagine Cleo might be feeling?
Scared, yeah.
Terrified.
And you have a lot of support from the community and family, and
yeah, everyone's been great.
The community's been amazing. Our family's been amazing. We've got a huge support system with our family. We've still got people flying here.
All the community offering to help.
And the community's been amazing. We've got people everywhere, and we're gonna find her. We have to.
Can you tell me a little about your family with the four of you? You live in Carnarvon, you go on camping trips like this. Can you talk me through some of that?
Well, this was our baby's first camping trip.
Got a 7-month-old baby.
It was a brand new tent. First time we'd used it, so obviously we were trying to work out all the flaws that could come with it, but this was never something that we ever thought would have happened.
And What do you like to do, the four of you, to spend time together?
We go fishing, camping,
hang out at the beach.
Cleo's terrified of the water. She doesn't go into the ocean. Loves the pool, but ocean, not so much.
And there would be some people, for the people that have been here the entire time, you read the portion that I was talking about where people were theorizing that she got washed out into the water. But, you know, here the parents are saying she's afraid of water. So.
Sandcastles and playing in the sand.
Yeah, she'll play in the sand.
She's learning to ride her bike without a training wheel, so
Yeah,
we brought that up.
We brought her bike so then she could ride around basically where we all grew up. So she was gonna keep learning to ride with no training wheels, as she calls them, stabilizers.
And is work and school here in Carnarvon?
Yeah, I work in town at the beauty salon. Jake works at
Rio.
Rio. Cleo goes to school at St. Mary's.
What's giving the two of you hope right now?
I know she's strong. Cleo was born 8 weeks early. She was premature and she's been strong from the day she was born. So I know she can get through whatever she's going through. And
for people keeping an eye out, can you tell me, what does Cleo look like and what was she wearing?
She's fair skin, quite skinny, slim, honey blonde hair, hazel eyes, just beautiful. She probably wouldn't really look comfortable, or she would be terrified. She would be so scared.
If someone does know where Cleo is and isn't providing that information, what would be your message for?
Please tell someone.
Just report it. What if it was your child and someone knew and didn't say something? Yeah.
Any news can help.
And just lastly, so the last 4 days you've been sort of here just waiting on any news, and
yeah, we've been close by. We haven't left. Just waiting for her to come home so we could take her home.
Is there anything we didn't talk about that you thought we should go into? I think that's pretty good.
And that's the most of the interview that I've seen out available to everybody. So let's get to the Dingo thing too. The reason, just to get into the history of it, I've always heard that term, but it's always been like said, meant to be like in a funny way, but there's an actual real story behind it. Are dingoes dangerous, and did one really eat a baby? Before I start that, let me just check, because I think I'm supposed to read somebody's super chat. Yes. Linda Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for coverage. I'm in Brisbane, opposite side of where she was taken. Our population is only 26 million, similar size. Native Trackers Institute. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I know I have some people from Australia and from some different places. So just showing a little bit of love. So yeah, let's get into this a little bit. This article, this is what a dingo looks like, because I saw somebody asking in the chat too. It's been said over and over by all kinds of people, and always in a bad Australian accent. The dingo ate my baby. Boom, drop mic. You too may have said it and laugh heartily with your sicko friends, yet chances are good that none of you know the real story behind the not so funny statement. I mean, please describe any situation in which anything eating a baby tickles the old funny bone. So what is a dingo? Dingoes are Australia's native wild dog that came to the outback from southern Asia about 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. They're similar to feral dogs in the U.S., minus the catchy name. The average male dingo is lean, weighs about 22 to 44 pounds, and has a goldish, orangish, reddish coat and pointy ears. Females are slightly smaller and weigh in at between 21 to 35 pounds. Dingoes usually travel in packs, although there are some that travel alone. A pack is led by a dominant dingo couple, and that pair will typically mate for life. Wow, that's pretty serious. Mate for life. As well as breed in the dingo group. The canines breed once a year, and there are about 5 pups in a litter. When the dominant couple breeds, the sweet female, note sarcasm, kills the offspring of her packs. Afterward, the other way, 2 forgiving females help care for the dominant female's pups, since they are the only pups still alive. Damn, so she kills the other babies. Afterward, when the dominant couple breeds, the sweet female kills the offspring of her pack mates. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. So she kills off all the other kids. Dingoes that aren't sacrificed as pups have a lifespan around 7 to 8 years in the wild and up to 15 in captivity. They look like there. Dingoes are opportunistic hunters and scavengers. They eat rabbits, rodents, birds, lizards, foliage, nuts, and yes, babies too. Like wolves, they're extremely smart, much smarter than domestic dogs, except of yours, of course. They're cute too, but wily, and unlike your dog, dingoes have wrists that rotate. This means they can use their paws like hands. Oh, damn. They also have a bigger canine teeth than domestic dogs. Their limbs are double jointed too, and they can turn their necks 180 degrees around. They run fast, climb with ease, and jump high. They also howl like wolves. You want to remember these facts for camping excursions. Despite this intelligence, these canines are generally thought of as pests by man. This tumultuous relationship can be traced back as far as 1788. That's when the British first took sheep to New South Wales, giving dingoes a new easy prey. By the 1880s, dingoes were invading farms and rural communities. The solution was to build Dingo Fence, a 3,500-mile fence that crosses Australia. Wow. It's kind of interesting history. So, moving past a little bit, so the actual story of what happened, right? A dingo did eat a baby. It's a sad but true story. A dingo did eat a baby. Dingoes generally don't attack people, but if they sense fear, they're more likely to attack. Here's the story behind the tragedy. In 1980, the Chamberlain family went camping near Australia's famous Ayers Rock in the Northern Territory. Lindy Chamberlain, 32 at the time, saw a dingo leave their tent and immediately went to check inside it. She discovered that her 10-week-old baby, Azaria, who had been sleeping in the tent, was gone. Lindy supposedly cried, my God, the dingo's got my baby." That is crazy that's where that comes from, because I've always heard that saying so many times, and it's always meant to be like a funny, that's how the context it was put in, like an Australian thing. I forgot. I thought there was a movie too. Wasn't there a movie or something like that? That was like one of the famous sayings or something like that. But there's an actual story behind it. The authorities were called, and there was a large, unsuccessful attempt to find Azaria. Many people heard about this disturbing and horrific event, and it stayed with them because it's not every day that you hear about a dingo eating a baby. The incident was a big deal at the time. Most people didn't think a dingo could or would eat a baby. Authorities suspected Lindy of killing Azaria, which that kind of crossed my mind a little bit, and then concocting the story about the dingo. Ultimately, she was arrested, tried, and found guilty of murder in 1982. The baby's father, Michael, was also found guilty of being an accessory after the crime. What the heck? The widespread media coverage of the trial, people even picketed laundries outside that courthouse with signs that read, "The dingo is innocent," adding a shocking murder to the already shocking animal kidnapped infant scenario, and dingoes dominated water cooler conversation around the globe. Fast forward to 1986. Both Lindy and Michael's convictions were overturned when police discovered a baby's jacket near an area full of dingo layers. Yo, how crazy is that? It was Azaria's. On September 15, 1988, the Northern Territory Court of Criminal Appeals unanimously quashed all convictions against Lindy and Michael Chamberlain. That same year, 2 movies, one released in Australia and a second in the US, starring Meryl Streep as Lindy, were instrumental in raising awareness about the tragic event. If nothing else, a panicked Meryl Streep saying, "The dingo took my baby," was an attention getter. Finally, in 2012, after 32 years, the coroner officially changed Azaria's cause of death to as the result of being taken by a dingo. After the new ruling, Lindy addressed the court. Obviously, we are relieved and delighted to come to the end of the saga. She said, adding, "No longer will Australia be able to say dingoes are not dangerous and only attack if provoked." 2 years later, Lindy was awarded $1.3 million for wrongful imprisonment and ultimately proved she was right all along. The dingo had taken her baby. Since the incident in 1980, when Azaria was killed, there have been several more documented cases of dingoes attacking and killing children, many as recently as 2019. That's incredible, man. I never knew the story behind that. Wow. It makes me kind of think a little bit about today and how we really kind of quickly jump to, it must be this, it must be that. And these people literally were locked up, and then they find this little girl's, this baby, her jacket in like a layer of dingoes. Wow. So Michael and Lee Chamberlain hold a photograph in 1981 of their baby daughter, Azaria, on the steps of Alice Springs Courthouse following the first coroner's inquest that found a dingo took their baby. Wow. You might actually look at this whole saying a lot differently. A 1991 episode of the sitcom Seinfeld gets the most credit. Oh, wow, I forgot. That's one of my favorite shows. The dingo ate my baby, becoming part of the pop culture when Elaine is annoyed by a woman at a party who repeatedly obnoxiously says that she cannot find her fiance baby. Elaine leans towards the woman and very clearly, in her best fake Australian accent, says, "Maybe the dingo ate your baby." I remember that. Wow. All right. On a little history tour there. That was pretty interesting. You know, definitely don't think a dingo took this baby, but I understand why people are referencing it with the previous stories. It is interesting, but you know, with this story, of course, we got the tent zipped up, the Ziploc bag missing. Like, none of it would make sense for any scenario like that. Oh, there's a couple of super chats. Let me check it out. The Only Lioness, does the little girl sleepwalk? Not to my knowledge. And if she did, there's no way she could have reached the zip at the top of the tent. That's what they said. The parents said that, and I think police said that. Angel Eyes 10, thank you for the super chat. The mother is in shock. I buried my son and was like a zombie for days. When the shock wears off, my guts were on the floor. People don't understand unless they've lost a child. I'm sorry to hear that, Angel, and thank you so much for sharing that. It's really, I think it's kind of dangerous when, I mean, it's really hard to tell when people are examining and looking at people's video reaction or interviews, and then it's like, it must be this, it must be that. It's kind of dangerous and a slippery slope. You know? Jin, in 1989, a 10-year-old boy was taken by a bear from a 2 places tent at a Boy Scout campground. It appended in the forest of Le Quebec, Quebec, Canada. Wow. Never heard of that story. Thank you, Jen. Leaf Lover Liz, love you, Mel. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Colleen, I've been asking everyone to cover Cash Journey case. I've only seen one person cover it at length. Just sad case. Thank you. Yeah, I've covered it. I think I covered like 2. I think I've done like 2 videos or something. That whole situation, I don't like when things get so dramatic, like drama wise with people. That story just turned into such drama. I didn't see the point in sitting for 10, 15 hours just looking at the same video. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I covered it, I think 2 times. And I believe the guy his name Darian or something. He was arrested. The video did look a little bit funny, but I'm not going to harp and just sit here every day and look at the same video. It just doesn't make any sense. And the drama behind it is just ridiculous. It's kind of like Summer Wells a little bit. I never got to cover Summer Wells. With stories and stuff like that, a lot of the times I always look to cover something unique. I'm not generally looking to be a part of the herd of everybody covering the same exact thing. When I first covered Gabby Petito, I believe I was one of the first people on it. I had no idea the story was going to blow up the way it did. It's a local Florida story. I mean, in doing so, I've learned that you kind of have to cover popular stories. I guess that's why everybody does it. But I'm always going to do a mix of a variety of content and different missing people. I bet you there's at least 10, 15, probably 20 people that I've covered that you've never even heard of on my channel. So I'm not particularly trying to be in sync with everybody else and like, oh, this person's covered that, let me jump on that. This person's doing that, okay, the 30 of us have to do the same exact thing. I'm not, I've never really worked like that. I kind of do my own thing. Linda Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Watch the body language of Lindy. Very similar to the case of Chloe. Also, Lindy was charged because authorities didn't want this to affect tourism. Damn. Do they have Lindy's like video? Is there video of that? It was a long time ago. Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I think it's kind of dangerous. A little bit of a slippery slope. With this story, with the parents and stuff, I don't know. Like people always wonder, like, Mel, what are your thoughts? I don't know. I feel like there's not enough information yet. It's suspicious. It's super suspicious. I mean, you have the car thing now, the 3 a.m. car situation. I mean, it is. You're in a tent. There's dividers, and you're sleeping in 2 sections. Maybe that's normal. I don't know. But the two kids were sleeping with each other. The kid that went disappearing belongs to the other dad, like biologically anyway. Even though we learned in this video that Jake, he's been there, according to the articles, this entire time. He raised her like her own. So, yeah, I don't really know. Oh, PB, thank you for the super chat. Even though I'm not getting CC, thanks, Mel. Initially, this reminded me of the first FBI serial killer case in 1973. Susan Jaeger abducted in while camping in State Park by David Mahafer. Never heard of that. I have to check that out. Thank you. Praying for Chloe's safe return. Thank you for the super chat. Can you show what type of tent they had? Let me see if I can find an article. She explained what it looked like, but it actually, like an actual picture. Let me see. Check out some of the new articles. I don't know. Let me see if Kato. Let me take a look here too. See, they have this image. I'm going to pull up Discord. I don't know if this image is actually their tent or it's just like an image they put up. Let's see. Oh, nice, Kato. Thank you. Yeah, that is the image. Okay, let's see. Show it to you guys. All right. Open original. Oh, let me save the images and then I'll show you guys full screen. I guess this is the tent right here. Supposedly there's multiple entrances. And so there was, I guess, a different entrance. That would freak me out. I'm just paranoid as a parent myself. I'm one of kind of like a helicopter parent. I would be kind of, I mean, the type of person I am, like paranoia or whatever, like, you know, obviously I have protection and like the alarm and stuff, but I still sleep with my door locked. Like in my own room, I want the door locked. I don't want to get caught off guard for any reason. I would be paranoid with multiple entrances, but it supposedly it's a quiet area. It has dividers. I think it's divided in, I thought maybe 2 sections. I'm not sure. And the 4-year-old Cleo and at the time 7-month-old was sleeping in the same area, but not in the same bed, but like I guess 2 separate little things. And so let me see if I can pull up any other images. That's the drone stuff, campsite. According to the experts too, they say that Mom and Jake were genuinely distraught, body sign experts. We got that full video ready. If I can get it for you guys. There we go. This is the family together. This is the sonogram images. Oh. Sonogram. Our little girl is growing so well, feeling so complete with my little family. Cleo is so excited to meet her baby sister. Jake and I feel so blessed. So this was the newborn, the images and stuff. I don't know, man. But yeah, you guys consider joining Discord because I'm working on improving and growing. We have multiple cases here. I'm going to keep growing this list of cases, and we have the files all in one area for easy researching, and then we have the discussion and chats that go on. This Discord is packed. It's blowing up. It's taking off. You know, as long as you're not toxic or drama creating issues, everybody's welcome. And I think that's it. Let me do one more quick check. I think that's it. I really appreciate you guys joining tonight, man. I'm probably going to go on Discord right now for a little bit. For the people on Discord, I wanted to talk a little bit about the whole Brian thing, the bones and the, what else was found? The water bottle. Let me read the super chats as well. There's 2 more super chats. Let me switch the screen. Raven. Thank you for the super chat. William Tyrell, another missing child case in Australia. Oh. Punky Banana, there was a car seen leaving. Yes, we covered that. Thank you. At 3 to 3:30 a.m. Love to the family and Aussie. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you guys so much. I wanted to kind of keep this brief so the people that rewatch it, they can get all the details. This stream was jam-packed with information, everything you need to know with the story as far as up until today. And so, yeah, this week, I expect it's going to be a busy week. I'm going to be looking to cover more stories while watching and keeping an eye on Gabby and Brian. And so, yeah, please hit like on the way out. The story with the biological father, they said he was cleared almost immediately. Maybe he had an alibi. He was interviewed for 3 hours. They asked him to talk, and he went voluntarily. And he was pretty far away from this location. So, I don't know. Discord name is iCkEdMeL. So you can either use the link in the chat, or now we're discoverable with the new options on Discord. So if you type in iCkEdMeL, missing person, true crime, whatever, the server is going to pop up. So thank you guys, man. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. Peace. Take care.